his femoral vein, and they had him stabilized. So I went in there and I was actually able to talk to him. He never actually went out. He said it got white, like a flash of white kind of over his head, but he never actually went out. And when I got in there, I could tell that he was in quite a bit of pain. But he seemed to, it's amazing that he was handling 4 gunshot wounds to the lower abdomen and growing as well as he was.
Well, I think it's interesting you said, because when I think about it, you're right. A human being handling 4 gunshot wounds, femoral arteries, all that, you're like, yeah. But then you say it's Mikey Burnett, and you're like, well, he's a tough son of a bitch. So he's endured a lot in the octagon and everywhere else. So it's status quo for him to be able to handle that like the champ that he is. So do you ask him what happened, or do you obviously just say loving things, or?
Over the course of the week, in between surgeries, I'd ask him bits and pieces, and he kind of I kind of got the whole story from him. He said basically that he was coming out of the gym with his son, Freddie, and 2 men approached him, or I guess they're kids, 16, 17 years old, approached him from behind, and one of them said, "Can I borrow your phone?" And Mikey said, he looked down, and anybody who knows Mikey knows he can't see that well anyway, so he's got the phone like two inches from his face, and he's like, "Yeah, what's the number?" And when he looks back up, the guy goes, "Give me your wallet." And as he says that, he starts to raise a gun up to his head, and of course Mikey, he's like, expletive, "You're not getting my wallet, expletive." And the guy, he gets the gun up to the top of his head, and Mikey bats it down at that point, and he starts firing.
Wow.
Oh my God.
And his son, who we were trying to figure out, remember how old he was, is Freddie's 18.
18, right.
And a senior in high school, if I remember correctly.
Right.
And he, runs from the other side of the car?
Mm-hmm. He runs around the other side, gets the guy in a rear naked choke, which anybody who's involved in MMA is is familiar with, starts to choke the guy down, so Mikey goes after the other guy. Figures Freddie has that guy, he's probably going to go out. Well, before he went out, he shot Freddie in the leg. So Freddie let go and said, I've been hit. And Mikey said that his legs just completely went out from under him, from the gunshot wounds.
Right. Wow.
Crazy.
The thing for growing up, what I know about my involvement with the MMA community, which is very little, is that it is a brotherhood. Mm-hmm. And you being his brother, I can only imagine the anger and revenge that you guys wanted to wanted to inflict on these guys, or go find them, or that had to have been a weird paradigm to try and figure out. Was there a little bit of that?
There was a number of unhappy East Siders at the hospital, to say the very least. Mikey took it, they're just stupid kids,
Wow.
He handled it pretty well.
Yeah. But okay, so we've had surgery. By the way, we're speaking with Scott Burnett. It's Mikey Burnett's brother, and he's talking to us about Mikey and his recovery. So he's had a surgery. Which surgery has he had so far?
Well, they did the initial surgery, which was the trauma surgery. Then they sent the vascular surgeon in, and he did a vascular surgery. And then he started to have swelling. After that surgery was done, he started to have swelling in his legs. So they had to go back in, and to alleviate the swelling, they had to put some incisions in his legs so the swelling could come down.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
What is a vascular surgeon? What does that specialize in? Am I putting you on the spot?
No, that's fine. I guess it's probably, what I'm assuming is pretty tedious work, to go in and repair vascular work that's been damaged in your body, and sew it back together and get your system back together. From the femoral artery, which I guess carries, from what I understand, blood away from the heart. The veins carry it back. So I'm sure it was it had to be very tedious, because it lasted, I don't remember how many hours, but it must have been 4, 5, 6 hours.
Oh my God.
Was there a point when all this was going on that you were scared for his life?
Not really, it's kind of weird, because Mikey, whenever I went in there, it's like, he's been faced with so many things in his life, and so many things have happened to him that don't happen to a lot of people. And he's always been kind of fearless anyway. I really wasn't that, I don't know. I really wasn't that concerned for him. And after I saw him, I wasn't that concerned for him. I don't know why, but I think maybe it's just because it's Mikey, You don't ever expect him to ever be gone, because it's just, nobody wants to think that anyway.
Right.
It never crossed my mind that he would be, he wouldn't be with us. So.
Wow. How long after he was shot did it take for the, EMS to respond?
Freddie said that he was on the phone with his mother when they came out of the gym, and the whole incident went down. And Freddie actually called 911, and when he went back to look at his phone, it was less than 2 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And then, so there's a fire station 27 right there at 31st and Garnett, and they were there, within a minute,
Awesome, okay.
So they were on the scene really fast.
Like my, of course, non-professional medical opinion, I hear the femoral artery, you can bleed out in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, they were on
severed.
it pretty quick, I guess.
Awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So as of today or this morning, the last time you spoke with him, what's his current status and condition?
Right now, they're kind of keeping him on narcotics, to keep the pain down, because the pain kind of comes and goes. When I saw him, Sunday, he seemed to be in a lot of pain, and then they're giving him more narcotics to kind of keep that down. But he seems, I don't know. He's a different breed. He just kind of takes it, easy come, easy go.
He's a durable guy, man. Again, he just proves it. Once again, he's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
Now, there's some people that have started a GoFundMe page, and I'm guessing these are friends of Mikey's. Mm-hmm. Do I have that right?
Yes. A couple of friends of his started one. A guy named Eric Ninehouse out of California, and Zane Heflin, and a friend of his started one here in Tulsa.
And they're trying to just collect some money for the medical bills because, as you can imagine, the medical bills are going to stack up really quickly. And so we want to try and direct people to that. If you want to help out, it's completely up to you. I imagine something's going to be in the future anyway, in terms of a fight or something like that, to try and raise money or concert or something, because he is so beloved in the community of people wanting to help him out. And people all over. I saw Vanderlei Silva reached out. Who's been that you have heard the biggest surprise? You're like, wow.
Louis Simmons from Westside Barbell. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Frank Shamrock, of course. The guys from the Lions Den. There's been a lot of people donate money and have sent love and prayers to our family. It's very humbling to know that many people in different parts of the world care about you.
Yeah. Especially because fighters, professional football players say it like this, that, man, everybody wants to be your friend, and then you retire and nobody even wants to talk. You don't even talk to people anymore.
Right.
But I would imagine especially the Lions Den, being one of the originals, people just came out of nowhere, the support and I call it the phone tree activation. Like, people just start reaching out from everywhere from the past.
Oh, absolutely. And I think people, kind of relate it to their own life. You're coming out of a gym, or you could be anywhere, and you have your son with you, which a lot of people have kids. And then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, your life's at stake. I think it probably hit home with a lot of people.
And that's a part that keeps getting, I was just doing a second ago. There is an 18-year-old kid that also is involved in this that got shot. How is his recovery doing?
Freddie took a shot right in the calf. He's just on crutches now.
That's amazing.
Yeah. He's lucky too, He's lucky the guy didn't pull the gun up to his head,
Yeah.
Tried to shoot his leg. I guess he probably didn't want to, because he might have shot himself. So,
right. Well, and yeah, that had to have been just a reaction to pull that trigger. If he was in a rear naked choke, he wasn't being real agile. And so he's going to complete recovery and have full functionality in his legs and stuff like that, and still be able to train and do whatever he wants to do.
Yes. There is one person that we really want to make a special thank you to, and that's a guy by the name of Ricardo Martinez. He's the guy who followed the shooters after they were shot. He's the one who got the description. Yeah, he did. He's the guy who took off after the shooters, got a description of the car, a picture of their tag. He's the one who called 911 dispatch to get the police on the shooters.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess I just learned this from a friend of mine. His parents own the Cancun restaurant, I guess, on 7th Street or whatever. But this young man he risked his own life, because, somebody can start shooting you out the window, especially if they feel like you're following them.
Right, and he took the initiative to go after these people and get some more information.
Absolutely.
Wow.
We appreciate that so much. I've never met the guy, don't know him or whatever, but our family appreciates it.
Absolutely. Because that's something he didn't have to do.
No, absolutely not. Most people run from that. That's why we're a little surprised about Freddie, attacking the guy. A lot of people hear gunshot wounds, and gunshot, and they're gonna run from it. So,
well, how are you doing with all this? That's a lot of adult stuff to deal with.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind week, but I just take it a day at a time.
Yeah.
I think it probably stunned my mom. The word, she's getting up close to 80. She had to drive 2.5 hours in the rain that night from Boswell, Oklahoma. So she was a little bit. She's tougher than Mikey and I both put together. She really is.
That's saying a lot.
Anybody who knows her knows that. Yeah, she's the toughest of everybody.
Well, to raise two, sons of bitches like you guys, I would imagine it takes a little tough rod.
It's in the gene pool.
Yeah.
No, she really. Anybody who knows her too is like, not yet. He's not lying about that. But she did have to drive in a rainstorm that night. It made her a little nervous, coming up about 2.5 hours from southeast Oklahoma, and she was a little distraught when she got there. I never seen her really like that. She doesn't really get that nervous about a lot, but that worked on her nerves pretty good.
Those are one of those humbling moments too, when you see somebody you've always been as like the toughest person broken down. You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, thanks for coming in and talking to us.
Absolutely.
Our hearts go out to your family. I know our listeners as well. It was very few things happen in our lives on the show where someone reaches out and is like, you got to make sure you talk about this or you know about this. And people keep asking to want to know the updates. I know the local media has done a good job to kind of keep it in the eyes of the listeners and viewers and stuff. But that GoFundMe to help out with Mikey is kind of important. So we'll put that up on our Facebook page to try and help out where we can. If something else comes up to raise money for the family, please let us know and give our concerns and love to Mikey and his son and your mom and stuff. And I think they know this, but they're not alone.
Thank you so much for having me on and bringing people's attention to this tragedy. So I appreciate it.
Thanks for taking the time. We're going to take a break and we'll be back.